Previously on Siren City, I'm currently holding up in a laboratory, Lab A, I think. I found some equipment in there, and I stopped into sirens from turning off the propulsion tanks, keeping the city afloat. I locked it to my fingerprints, so they can't turn off without me, and they need me alive to do that. So, what's my next move? I don't know. I managed to kill one of their generals. She was weird. She can control rocks she touched, but she couldn't control straight up metal. I don't know what I'll do if I run into another one of them. They need me for something. They're gonna need me for whatever that something is, and to turn off the jet repulsors. For both, I'm assumingly they're gonna need me alive. There was a massacre on a new species here. I'll call them skin fishes because they have an extra abundance of skin. It's like pulled back around their head. I don't know why it's like that, but I guess I must progress. I get out of the laboratory, and I just get onto the nearest building because I'm always safest up high, and I can't stop thinking about that weird blue siren. Like, why he didn't attack me any of the times where he saw me. Maybe it's because I helped him, or saved him more accurately. That doesn't matter now. Up till now, I've been just focused on escaping. But then I realized there was a better plan. Instead of me just leaving, I can send a message to the mainland, because the boat is more or less my only escape. But it is a risky move, because any siren notices me leaving, I'm dead. There's no other way around it. And if I die, no one can warn humanity. So I'm just gonna have to go over there instead. It's a much safer bet, and it's more likely to get the message out. So to the radio TV station thing, it's a really weird building. Okay, they do multiple things there. They hold interviews. They like route signals to the entire city and to like in between the mainland. All I need to do is find a recording device, which shouldn't be too hard, right? It was a little harder than I thought. On my way over there, just jumping building to building, the usual stuff. I found a few backpacks on top of a building. I guess it was from some other survivors. I'm not quite sure. But I'm not complaining. And, like, thankfully for me, I find a USB drive and a camera. I start looking on the up in the videos, and there was about three people? Three or four, I couldn't really tell. And they were all just talking about how they've been surviving the past few days. And they've been, like, documenting some of the sirens. Blah, blah. They have a bunch of footage of them swimming around, them singing, which it showed how it actually affected, like, the people. They were like drawn into it. Like they had to physically like punch themselves to stop them from like getting too close. Why it doesn't affect me, I'm not quite sure. I'm not complaining though. And the last video is just the camera person falling into the water. The camera didn't fall into the water, obviously. And well, the rest is blank. I'm assuming the rest are dead because would leave just a bunch of stuff here. Or they had to leave really quickly. Either way, it's not looking good. I search the rest of the backpacks. I find a little food. I eat the food because I was kind of hungry. I find some weaponry. And, well, it was the middle of the night. I had two options. I wasn't tired because I kind of slept during the day while I was in the lab. It was hard to tell the time down there, okay? But this might work better for me. I should just sleep during the day and just head out during night. It'll just simply make it'll be a little hard to see, but more sirens will be sleeping and they'll be a little more drowsy, right? So I pack up. I basically just get a much bigger backpack. I just put all my stuff in there, including my fanny pack, and I head off. On my way over there was nothing really different. The sirens were still trying to capture me. Ran into a few. I have to like kill all of them now. Like I can't just let one get away because I let one get away, they're gonna tell them the rest of them where I am. So I can't have any survivors, which is not exactly great. But I push forward nonetheless. At some point during low tide, I see a bunch of those weird skin fish just locked up in cages for some reason. They were like weird siren cages they made for them. It was made of coral, a bit of sandstone, and a bit of metal. I don't know why they're capturing these little skin fish things, but you know what? I wasn't too eager to find out, so I just let them out. They didn't really pay any attention to me. They were just kind of ignoring me. I mean, their numbers were like lowered significantly since the rally incident. So either they think I did it, or maybe they knew I was part of it. Either way, I guess their thought process was if I don't acknowledge him, he won't acknowledge me. They all kind of just walked away in the end. I continue my journey. I started going around the park because, well, going through it is a horrible idea because there's not really many places for me to get up to. And the last thing I need to do is get trapped on like a small building with like multiple sirens charging at me. That is the last thing I need. So I decided to go around the park. It's just gonna be safer for me. Anyways, I'm almost to the radio station. Then the tide goes up out of sync. It's like great. Anyways, kind of at a bit of an impasse here. I can't just wait for the tides to go down because the longer I'm in one place, the more danger I am. And I did know some boards set up by survivors to get like cross the gap. So I have no choice but to really go through the boards because I can't stay there and well, I can't jump it because I'm good at jumping building to building, but there was a solid like 20 feet between me and that, and I would really rather not risk it. So I get near the water. Great. I'm keeping an eye on everything. Like I'm checking behind me. I'm being very cautious. My suit is good, but it's not gonna do me much against the siren, especially underwater. Then I hear a very large splash. I turn to see good old Blacktail. She looked really, really mad. Like where her eyes should be white were black, and where her eyes were blue, were kind of glowing now, and the center was just pure black, and she looked very mad to say the least. She didn't say anything, she just charged me. So you know what? I just ran. There was nothing else for me to do. Like getting into a gunfight with her would be pointless. She's smart enough to dodge it. So I just start full dash sprinting. So at first it looks like I'm gonna make it, but then she just knocks over a car and the board kind of falls off under my feet. So now I'm in the water with her. I put on my mask and flippers before I fall in, and I just swim into the closest building. She's now like swimming after me. I close the door, but that gives me like 10 seconds. Honestly, she just like pondered for a second, like, do I break this door? I might get in trouble. And she broke it anyways. I just start running up the stairs because, well, that's the closest way out of the water. Anyways, as I'm running up, I like barely get out of the water. At first, I think I'm safe. But no, now she's just gonna try to take down the building. Like she's throwing stuff at it, she's trying to like tear up pillars. She's trying to make sure she only damages that specific building for some reason. I'm not sure why. Well, and now this like thing's starting to like shake. And I can't go down, so I have no choice but to just run it up as high as I can, see if I can find an exit up there. And while I'm running up there, there's more of the fishwalker, skin fish, we'll call them, up, and they're wearing like helmets now. I don't know who gave them helmets, but they have helmets, and they are very mad. They're like jumping at me. I had to like smack them with a bat. It didn't remove their helmet, but I did like back them off from me. And I just had to take that opportunity just to run. And you know, I locked the door between me and all the skin fish helmet things. Then suddenly the building just stopped shaking for some reason, and I can hear an argument coming from outside. I couldn't really tell you the voices or who was arguing with her. All I could really get along the lines was, "We need him alive." I think it was a male voice. I couldn't really tell. It was pretty far. Also, we're not supposed to be damaging the city. It was along those lines. And then the tide started lowering, and they just both left. Well, they had no choice but to leave. I get out of the building. I take a breath, and I start continuing on. The radio tower was much closer, so it wasn't going to take me that long to get to. Anyways, I finally make it into the radio place. It was pretty big actually. It had a very large roof, so I could probably get the signal out. So I lock the door behind me because the last thing I need is more things following me. Because now they probably know what I'm doing. Because well, Blacktail's probably going to tell them. So I have to be fast. Anyways, I start looking around, and I notice the an engineering team, the people that like designed the suit I'm wearing, had a bit of a meeting here, or I don't know, interview, discussing the technology they're making. And I think I could use some of that. So I just start looking around. I find bullets, other usual stuff, a little more food. I have to keep well fed during all of this. Some clean drinking water. So, more or less, I was good there. Then I find the actual room where the interview was done. Yeah, they're all dead. One of the skinfish got in there, and, well, do not underestimate the skinfish. They can very easily kill you if you're not careful. But hey, their bodies have bullets on them for some reason. Well, the interviewees were, not the interviewers. Anyways, I find more bullets. I I don't know if this. I found another gun. It was like a pistol. I couldn't really tell you if it was better or not. I kept it, but I didn't really have like the attachment for underwater. It's more of just a backup, like in case I lose one. And one of them had this little. It was like a little metal thing that was kind of curved, flat on the back, had a little hook onto it. It attached onto my suit. I found some instructions with it. You are now in possession of the. I couldn't really read the company name. It was kind of bleak. It was kind of waterlogged. This device allows you to dash forward underwater. This will be helpful for moving around underwater and not combat whatsoever. They were definitely preparing for this. They definitely were. They knew something was coming. They knew it was water related. So they made this kind of equipment. How much do they know? And should I be looking for more labs? I don't know. I also find something else in one of the lockers there. Prototype for the underwater launcher. Basically, it like launched like water explosives. And it was like broken down into three parts, and those parts were in somewhere called Lab B. Anyways, I decided to like just pair up the both maps and just like mark where Lab B is, and a few other things, just like where possible loot maybe, in general, but more or less more where Lab B is. I start heading out to finally get the signal going. I plug in the little USB, and I start trying to send out the signal. It wouldn't send for some reason. I couldn't send the message. It kept saying about one of the well, like heads being broken, the satellite heads. So I had to go out and fix it. One of the wires were like cut in half for some reason. I guess they anticipated this. I fixed it with some duct tape. I should have like turned off the power to the thing, which wasn't hard. I just had to flip a lever. I had to find some duct tape. After I flip the power back on, the tide starts to rise. And first, I don't think they're gonna necessarily go up to the message system quite yet because it's far enough away from water to where the sirens might be in danger if they try to go for it. And they do value their life. So the only real thing I could do was wait until the tide went down, which wasn't the best move, but it was the only real move I can make. So I just kind of started sitting out there, just waiting for the water to lower. I couldn't really send the message while the water was up. It was getting like waterlogged or something. Something bad was gonna happen. I just knew it. So I see something move in the water, and that something was big, like 3 school buses big. And it simply goes back into the water to where I can't see it. The tide was unusually high this time, which was a bit concerning. I see it again. It just rises up a little more, goes back down. Then one more time, comes up, then it jumps right onto the building with me. And now the building was pretty big. There was like a good amount of room between me and it. And the satellite wasn't any real danger. It was like on a little area, a bit above it. Above it. It was in a high place. It was safe. Okay. And it was a giant skinfish thing. It was huge. Its tail was razor sharp. It had really big claws in it, and its claws were very sharp as well. And it looked mad. I think I couldn't tell. It had a giant helmet on him. Boss fight. The giant skinfish. I don't know why it was attacking me. I They didn't really hunt for food per se. I mean, they sometimes did, but they had plenty of food just laying around. That was much easier for them to grab. My only theory was, I think the skinfish things think I'm the one that like massacred their population. It was not. It was Rowley. But I guess they need someone to blame. That someone just happens to be me. Anyways, the skinfish's attacks included charging at me, jumping into the water to throw things at me. It tried to swing at me with its tails and claws, and my bullets could not get through its helmet. Like I didn't know what to do. But then suddenly, a belt with grenades on it gets thrown out of the water. I grab those grenades and I just chuck one at it. It touches the helmet, then boom, its helmet's off. It kind of just shakes its head around a little bit, then quickly realizes it's no longer has armor. So the thing just dives back into the water, starts swimming around again. It's now being more cautious. Its new attacks include jumping onto other buildings, trying to get like a swing off of at me, but it was barely. It was like its tail was barely long enough to reach me, but it did give me an opportunity to get some shots. And I wanted to knock it down. I decided to throw another grenade. I had a total of 6. So I wasn't dead quite yet. It also tried to jump onto the main building with me, which it wasn't a bad move, but it did give me more shots on it. At some point, it does manage to knock me into the water, but I'm not dead. I put on my mask, I turn on the flippers, and I still have that little jet thing. So I was able to dodge it, but barely. I had to swim to other buildings. The dash thing had a recharge time. Like, I couldn't just infinitely do it. So whenever I was in a building, it would try to, like, reach in there for me. And it was smart enough to keep me from getting out of the water. So I just had to, like, use the underwater attachments to them and just keep shooting at them. And the fight went on for quite a while. It took every bullet I had. At some point, it came down to just, like, one last shot. It was charging at me, and I took it. It stopped moving. Its arms went limp, and it just started floating up. The tides began to lower. There I was, killed a giant monster in a very wet city, and just I was out of breath. I was tired. I was like, what the? When did they get that big? Then it gets up, quickly realizes it's out water, and just runs away. It's like, it's not dead. Okay, calm down. Let's go send that message right now before anything else happens. I get in, I send the message. Thankfully, the message got sent before anything else happened. I think nothing really happened to it because, well, no siren was dumb enough to get near that thing. Well, actually, one was, because what else could have thrown that belt of grenades? I had, like, one grenade left. And I was going to use that on a dark, rainy day, to say the least. I get out of there because, well, the sirens know where I am. I need to, like, keep moving. So anyways, now I'm back to my original plan. Get to the docks. But I have to take a different route because they're going to know what route I used to get here. But then I hear a voice. The tides kind of rise up a little bit. They're going at random intervals now. Sometimes it's like barely enough for a siren, so they don't even bother with it. This was one of those cases. Anyways, I turn around to see Bluetail, and he goes, I'll do my best to mimic his voice. Hello there. Are you okay? Yeah, I am. Are you the one that threw me those grenades? He didn't really say anything. I took the silence as a yes. I don't think he wants to openly admit he's helping me. Anyways, he basically just starts telling me a bunch of things, like, as in, like, I need to get out of here. He's not quite sure what they want to do with me. All he knows is he can't really just let it happen because, well, I'd be a little awkward since I kind of saved his life. So he offers me a deal. He'll get me through the park. He'll get me to Lab B, and he'll get me out of here. In exchange, I will just shut up about him. I won't say a thing. I will just pretend I never saw him. Before I accepted the deal, I simply asked for his name. He told me his name. I'm not gonna bother trying to repeat it because it's like 20 syllables, something long. So he just went, just call me John. So my new ally, John. And did I accept his deal? Well, you're just gonna have to wait till my next recording. If you enjoyed this little recording, the like button. If you didn't, then I hope you at least enjoyed some of the parts of the video. If you'd like to hear more of them, subscribe. If you don't, well, I hope you at least enjoyed this video. This has been Nathan. You've been a great audience. This is goodbye.